People are pretty good at figuring out the weather, what the weather is going to be like. But for one wonderful day, we can ask, can a groundhog tell us what the weather is going to be like? Can this groundhog tell us the weather? Okay. And that special day is Groundhog Day. And it's crazy. It's great. It's wonderful. Groundhog Day is a fun holiday that takes place every year on February 2nd. That's right. And this little drawing is a drawing of a groundhog. This is what a groundhog looks like. You're going to see a lot of groundhogs in this video. So, if it's February 2nd, it is Groundhog Day officially, okay? All right? Congratulations. If it's February 2nd, it is Groundhog Day. We are going to ask you about this later in the video. Groundhog Day is always February 2nd. Remember that. Oh, there's a groundhog eating. You might be wondering, why do we look at groundhogs on February 2nd? How did this holiday even begin? This is the history of Groundhog Day. It all began in Pennsylvania in the United States. Some German communities in Pennsylvania believed that if a groundhog saw its shadow on the morning of February 2nd, it would return to its burrow and there would be 6 more weeks of winter. If a groundhog did not see its shadow, then that was considered a sign that spring would arrive early. Pretty cool. These communities believed February 2nd was a special day that was a sign for the days to come. February 2nd already had special significance because it was a feast day called Candlemas. That's right, Candlemas. It was believed that if the weather was clear on February 2nd, it was a sign that winter would continue for 6 more weeks. If the weather was cloudy on that day, they believed it meant that spring would arrive early. The shadow was just their way of testing how clear the weather was. They didn't actually believe that the groundhogs knew what the future weather would be. Then, in 1840, a man named James Morris wrote about this practice in his diary. It is the earliest reference to looking at groundhogs on February 2nd that we have. And obviously, this is not James Morris. This is a groundhog, because groundhogs don't have diaries. They don't. They can't write. They can't write. People continued their groundhog traditions, but it wasn't until 1886 that it became well known, when a newspaper called the Punxsutawney Spirit in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, wrote about it. Remember that place, Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. So, a year later, in 1887, people gathered together in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, to watch a groundhog. The editor of the Punxsutawney Spirit, Clymer Freese, was there and is considered the father of Groundhog Day. After all, he is the one who named it Groundhog Day. He turned a tradition in Pennsylvania into a holiday. Fun fact time. It's time to learn a fun fact about groundhogs. All right, this is really cool. Did you know groundhogs go by another name? Groundhogs are also called woodchucks. So you know the poem, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Yeah, that's talking about these animals. Before we continue, do you remember this? When is Groundhog Day celebrated? We said we would quiz you on this. When is Groundhog Day celebrated? Yeah, February 2nd. Great job. On February 2nd, Groundhog Day is celebrated in the United States and Canada. Groundhog Day is celebrated in both countries, the United States and Canada. But nowhere is it celebrated more than in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. As many as 40,000 people come to Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania each year to celebrate. Do you see this groundhog being lifted in the air? This groundhog's name is Punxsutawney Phil. Punxsutawney Phil is the official groundhog that makes the prediction in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. And Punxsutawney Phil is the most famous groundhog in the whole world. This holiday is all about fun. For most people who celebrate Groundhog Day, it isn't about the weather prediction, whether it happens to be right or not. It is a time to look at the groundhog, also known as a woodchuck, and wonder and imagine what the future weeks will bring. Special thanks to our patrons who make these videos possible. If you would like to help us and also get some cool Homeschool Pop tattoos, click the link below the video or visit homeschoolpop.com to learn more. As always, you are awesome. Thanks for learning with us.